Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a weird week in that it seems like a lot of things need to be fixed around the house.
Yes.
Some of it is I added myself. So, one of the weirdest things about living in Florida. So, if you're new to the show, Jamie and I, we hail from the Midwest, and the Midwest is very much like people. Like my grandma, for instance, I've talked about many times, she would go get things at, yard sales to put her own yard sale. Like, they don't get rid of things. Mm-hmm. But in Florida, people get rid of stuff. Like, that can still be used. So I was walking around our neighborhood, and one of our neighbors had basically a brand new dryer sitting out. And I was like, oh. And then I messaged him about what was wrong with it. And he said, oh, the heating element just didn't work. Or he just said it wouldn't have heat. Well, I used to work at a parts and repair shop for Sears, and so I brought it in and fixed it. So basically, I have a new dryer. But then at the same time this week, had to fix one of the cars. And then last night, we were getting ready to go live. I was putting our daughter to bed, and I just hear this thud that it sounded like a muffled, like someone did like a body slam on a wrestling mat. I was like, what is that? And the first thing that came to my mind was when I was a kid, I remember very vividly, around 10 years old, a car hit our house. Mm-hmm. I think I've told you this before, but it's like me and my brother we shared a room, had bunk beds. I remember going to bed, almost asleep, and all of a sudden there's this bang in the house, and I saw taillights. And
wow.
So it was loud enough bang. I was like, did something hit the house? Turns out the people that built this house, they installed Jamie's closet, her side of the closet, not well, and everything fell off the wall.
Yeah, the nails were pulled out of the wall. It's not like I didn't have super duper heavy stuff on it. That's what confused me too. It was just years and years of things being
well, the problem is they used nails. That's the main problem. You're supposed to use screws in this situation. So
but there's screws on your side.
There are screws on my side.
Very confusing.
I now have to fix a closet. First, we have to clean up the floor because it's just Jamie's clothes are all on the floor now. And so it's been a lot of cleaning and not really cleaning, but fixing things.
Fix it, Jared, right there.
And apparently now the oven needs working on. I don't know. I don't enjoy this, but I'm glad I can do these things, I suppose. But that's been going on with us, just fixing stuff. And apparently now I'm gonna do what you do. I'm just gonna put our dryer out on the curb and see if anybody takes it.
Okay.
Surely somebody will.
Okay.
It does work, just not well.
Yeah.
By the way, that dryer that we've had, I had it. I've had it longer than I've had you.
That's right. Yep. It was the dryer that he had in his apartment whenever I met him. It was
an old dryer. Yep. It's kind of like a piece, it sits there I'm going to get rid of it, but I'm like, man, that dryer's been with me through a lot.
I mean, it works.
It does work.
It struggles.
Does it work well? Not really, but it does work. It probably just needs a new belt, to be quite honest. It'd probably be fine, but anyways.
But now we have two dryers, so one has to go. It's going to be the old one.
I mean, probably. Although the old one probably will last longer than the new one. But anyways, that's what's going on with us. But Jamie did have some fun. She went to Disney last week for a day trip with her mom.
Yeah, my mom and I, we went to Animal Kingdom and Epcot just to do some fun stuff. She asked if we could go, just a girls trip, just one day. And she wanted to do a bunch of Animal Kingdom stuff because that's her favorite park. So we rode some rides. We ate at Yak Yeti, which was the first time I had ever eaten there. We're actually going to talk about that today. And we also went to Epcot and did some of the annual pass holder perks. It's the annual pass holder month, and we did some of that over there. And it was a nice day. We had a great time.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about Jamie's meal there and over at Yak Yeti. And then we do have some news we can talk about where Disney did release the dates for the Halloween party this year.
Yes.
And a couple of things. Jamie may bemoan the Tangled ride that opened in Japan. That's been... I'm not going to lie. I saw footage of that today, and I was like, wow. That's all. I mean, I think I'm not the only one, but talked about for a long time how cool that type of ride would be. And it looks pretty cool. So we may talk about that. Maybe vent some feelings. I don't know. We'll see.
This is a Disney World show.
Well, it should be in Disney World.
I agree.
So
I agree.
it's relevant, I suppose. But
Yeah.
anyways, but before we get to the news, just want to remind everybody, if you're watching us over on YouTube, over at CTM Podcast, please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. And if you're listening to us on good old, just trusty podcast audio form, we greatly appreciate that. And whatever platform you listen on, just subscribe to the channel and leave us a review if you would not mind. And if you want even more content, if you want to contribute to the show, you could look at joining Club 32, and that's our private group where we have additional content. We have what we're going to have on Thursday is Cool Kids Kitchen, where we do a monthly live stream where we make a dish from either Universal or Disney World. And this week we are making, is it the hummingbird cake?
Hummingbird cake from Homecoming.
Yeah, we're going to live stream, make that.
If the oven works. If the oven's not working, maybe we have to push that back. We'll see.
Well, it works. We'll figure it out. Anyways,
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. So we have that. We have the Club 32 show, which is every Tuesday. We live stream with all the members in there. It's always a good time. And last night we did that. And we had the little trivia, which is kind of nice. So I think we may start implementing that. So pop quizzing people. Because
I think we'll do that weekly. It was pretty fun. I think everyone really liked it too.
I enjoy pop quizzes all the time myself.
Yeah.
But we did that. We have music loops on a private podcast feed where you can find all the additional content. Private Facebook group. You get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products, if I can talk. We also have twice a year meetups, all sorts of things. So if you want to check that out, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. And we actually have the Clubhouse show that's going to start very soon. And we're going to bring back, people have been requesting it, Rant Corner. I will do more rant corners.
Oh, no.
So apparently people like to hear me rant about things, so that will be included in there as well. So again, if you want to join there, ctmvip.com, you have monthly or yearly options, and you have a free trial if you want to try it out. So that's where you go for that. So, all right, well, let's get to the news. And our first story we have is it's officially halfway to Halloween this week. So Disney did make some announcements that we've been anticipating, but they finally came out and had some details.
Yeah. So the big thing was that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is returning this year on select dates beginning August 9th through October 31st, which is the earliest it has ever started. So we were creeping toward July. We're creeping.
We were wondering years ago if they'd ever make it into July.
They absolutely will.
I think they will too, but that's wild.
I can't. I mean, I personally have a hard time celebrating Halloween in July, so hopefully it stays in August.
Like 4th of July, Halloween.
Yeah. Ticket prices range from $119 to $199 per person. If you compare this to last year's lowest price, it was $109. But the biggest price was still $199. So the largest price has not gone up, just the lowest. Tickets go on sale for the general public on May 15th. Select Walt Disney World resort guests can purchase them starting this May 8th. So if you're a resort guest, you already have your room booked, you can go ahead and buy tickets for the party. APs and DVC member discount of $10 will apply in August and September only. So if you're going in October, you will not get that discount if you're an AP holder or a DVC member. Stuff that's returning this year. Mickey's Boo to You Parade, Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular Fireworks Show. There's a lot of spectaculars in this, what I'm saying in here.
Lots of them.
Hocus Pocus Villains Battlectacular Stage Show, Disney Junior Jam, Cadaver Dance, Rust Cut Glass, Pirate Band, which we really liked last year. Remember that?
Yeah.
Trick or Treating, obviously. Attraction overlays at Monsters Inc., Space Mountain, and Mad Tea Party. Specialty party themed food and drinks, party merchandise. Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular Dessert Party, and booking for that begins June 7th. And special magic shots and photo pass opportunities. What's new this year? Mickey and Minnie will wear new outfits. They are neon spiderweb costumes. There's going to be more villains walking around, just being at the party. I don't know if it's just going to be like them just randomly popping up, or they're going to be like random meet and greets. Like that, they were kind of vague on that. There's going to be a Descendants party at Rocket Tower Plaza, which is based on the new Descendants movie that's coming out on Disney Plus. Bruno, we're going to talk about Bruno, will be meeting guests with Mirabelle at their casita spot in Magic Kingdom. And then new times for Boo to You Parade, 8:15 and 11:15. Traditionally, it's been at 9:15 and 11:15. So They're moving the first performance up an hour.
I wonder if they're doing that to see if it gets like people out. I'm curious what happens to after the first one there if crowds thin out.
So this is what I was thinking. I think it's to spread out basically those performances, but also spread out like the stuff that's in between too. Cause like they still need the use of the stage show, the Hocus Pocus show, and there's stuff going on. So I kind of like that it's spread out like this, and it gives more time between the first parade and the fireworks. Cause a lot of people will watch the fireworks and then go get their spot or watch the parade and then go get their spot for the fireworks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with this, I think it moves people around a lot more. Also, the littles can catch a parade.
Trying to say it's probably for a lot.
They're
for
still
the
awake.
Yeah.
So if our kids were still like super duper young, I would have loved this. You know what I mean? Like when our daughter went the first time at like 2,
Yeah.
it should have been much better. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So that's all this new stuff that's coming this year that we know of. And one thing that's interesting, which I don't know if this is permanent, but we'll see. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is not listed as one of the open attractions during the party. This is obviously subject to change, but interesting nonetheless.
I really don't think that's much about anything, if I were to guess, because they haven't announced when that is going to officially open, which we'll probably talk about the earnings calls this week, and there was no mention in the earnings call about when Tiana's Bayou was going to open either. So that's kind of the next thing is like, when is it going to open? So whether or not it'll be open during the party, I guess that's up for debate, but I would assume unless something has gone drastically wrong, I would assume by August that ride will be going. You know,
they've been saying summer, so it could be up until September, but I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, they already talked about in the earnings call how, spoil a little bit there, they said like they were expecting the summer attendance to be soft. So if you're expecting that to be the case, not that it would make people come in like crazy, but in my opinion, but I think having a new ride or a reopened or reimagined ride would help things.
Sure.
So, and I've said all along, I'm not, unless they're having issues with the new animatronics they put in, I mean, they're not doing anything different to the actual ride itself. Like the ride track, all that stuff like that, like it's running. They've been testing it for a while. So the only things you would have in there are issues with probably the animatronics that are being put in. So
or maybe it's like the last scene, maybe something to do with
I just don't think it's anything ride related. I think it's all to do like the ancillary things. So
maybe,
if they're having issues, that would be the case. But I've said all along, I would assume it's open. I mean, although I don't think they're going to hit Memorial Day, because that was kind of our initial guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's not happening. They would have to have announced that before.
Right. So,
and, I still say July because they still have all those blackout dates and people are getting invites now for June coming up for previews for June. So I think it'll be opening in July. That's just my opinion.
I'm wondering if DreamWorks Land and Universal opens in June.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering if Disney maybe is gonna just try and mirror that and go head to head and have their new ride opening at the same time. Maybe.
I don't know. I think even June is too early. I think it'll be July. Well, that's just my personal opinion, but I just don't.
Well, what would they give? 2 weeks for how long do they usually give for AP previews though? Because you got cast member, then you got AP, and then it opens.
It lasted like 3. Remember when they opened Remy's? They had like 3 weeks worth of AP previews. So I don't know. And then you've got DVC members too. You've got media. You've got cast members. So like, there's a lot of previews to go through.
So basically, give it a month. So let's.
I'm saying July because they're not even doing any of the preview stuff the invites yet until June.
Yeah, it could be July.
I'm just telling you.
All right. Well, typically we do a poll time at the end of the news, but the Jamie's poll time this week is relevant to the Halloween party. So we figure we'll do the poll time now to lead into a little bit of talking about this. So Jamie does have a poll time.
Poll time. All right. Yeah, I wanted to tie in this announcement about the Halloween party with poll time this week. So I asked who will be attending this year's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and tell me why or why not in the comments. So 58% will not be going. 24% are definitely going. and 18% are a maybe.
Okay.
So more than half are not going. I'm actually not shocked by these numbers because not everybody can travel in the fall, in August, September, October. So it's not like a shocker, but I was just to gauge how many people were interested in going. Some people were interested in going on Halloween night. There were some that said like, I went once, I'm not going to go again. Some people were like, it's too expensive for all of us to go. Maybe I'll go in a couple years. Some interesting answers. So, that's pretty much what was said as far as like why or why not to go. And I think this opens up to a bigger discussion is, do you think based on what we saw, like as far as what we're getting new this year for someone that's already been, do you think it's worth it to go again?
I've said this for a few years now, and I think definitely it still holds true. I think the repeatability of this party is not very high. It's basically the same thing every single year. There's a couple of things like Mickey and Minnie have different outfits this year. There's a couple of different meet and greets, but for the most part, if you've been to one Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, you've kind of been to them all. They're very similar. I don't know I don't think it needs to be reworked from the ground up or anything. I think it is a good party. I think they've gotten a pretty good balance of how to do these and move crowds around and things, but for me, I don't see the need to do it. You know, it's like Halloween Horror Nights. If you look over there, there's always different haunted houses every year. So there is a built-in, let's check out the new stuff here.
Right.
There's really not a whole lot of new stuff here. And really, too, once you start looking at the cost of this, I mean, it was one thing. It wasn't even that long ago. It was under $100 to go.
Oh, gosh. It was last couple of years. It was still under 100.
So now you're talking about if you're going toward the upper end there, if you got a family of 4, you're talking almost $800 to go.
When we went in 2018, I think it was the first year we went, it was $75 per person for us to go. So it's gone up like $10 each year.
Yeah. So now even on the low end, you're at the very least paying probably close to $500. And
for a family of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about families, which this party's basically built for, is families for the most part. Mm-hmm. I think that immediately will price a lot of people out. Then you can talk about, well, there's demand, so that may be what they're trying to do. Like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But repeatability, I think the price almost is prohibitive in that. And in that also, you know, you can do there's a bunch of Halloween related things you could do with, you know, your family if it was just about getting candy and things like that. So for me personally, outside of obviously we review it for the show, if it was just without that aspect of it, for me and trying to just think about it as like objectively, there's nothing that's just like, I don't go into these parties thinking like, oh man, what is new this year? It's kind of, you know what you're going to get. But I don't know. What about you?
Oh, I have a blast. I love it.
Well, I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just
Right.
saying like repeatability and like newness is where I'm coming from.
Yeah, even if it's not new every year, I still really enjoy it. I love the Jack Skellington puppet thing in the fireworks show. Boo to You Parade gets into my head every year, and I love it. I love the trick-or-treating aspect. I love seeing everybody in their costumes. So, like, yeah, people dress up every year, but, like, I love seeing the creativity and what, you know, you can actually dress up as, too. I love that part. Party merchandise is different. The food and drinks are different. So, I mean, like, there's enough different things that they add every year for me to make it worth it. But I can see what you're saying. If you're going for your one-time trip, like, yeah, maybe do it. But if you go every year and you just want something different, like maybe this wouldn't be for you. But
here's a question though. Once you start, so eventually they're going to get over the $200 mark for this party on the high end. Probably next year, within 2 years, be my guess. Mm-hmm. At that point, repeatability and things of that nature, do you think that this party is worth it at $200?
No, personally, no, I don't.
See, that's where I agree. You're talking about this party, like, historically speaking, I've even told people, like, yeah, I mean, the Halloween party and the Christmas party, like, it's really good. And typically it had been fairly reasonable in terms of a special event.
Right.
But now when you're getting to this, like, now you're well over 100.
Right.
And most nights are going to be probably mid-hundreds per person.
But here's the thing. What they're doing, and if you're a family of 4 or 5, whatever. You're coming to Disney. You've bought your tickets. You have the hotel, so you've got the whole shebang. You just get 1 day less of tickets and use this party as a ticket day. It kind of makes up for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. But then that gets into the question, is it worth, then you'd have to have that discussion internally. Is a 4 hour, was it 4 or 5 hours typically? I think it's 4 hours for the party.
The party starts as at 7 to midnight, but you can get in as early as 4. So you can have 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that worth it over an entire, potentially like one park or multiple park day? That's something that people have to figure out. But I just think as that price goes up, it becomes a little, it's seeing that at $199. I just remember last year I saw it and seeing it this year. I'm like, that is wild, because it really was not that long ago where it was not even. I mean, I thought it was crazy the one year that I did the Cruella de Vil party, and I think that ticket combined with the ticket I went to was almost $200. That was just me though.
Yeah,
that's one just to review it. So that was like an extra party included, not just the base level.
Oh, that's right.
But,
well, yeah, I don't think I would go to a party that costs $200, which is why we typically go in August or early September when the prices are still close to that 100 mark. I can justify it more if it's closer to that 100, but when you get to 200 a person, I'm like, okay, let me just think about it. Cost is definitely something to consider. Like, I mean, I think that most people that buy these tickets are definitely considering like, okay, is the price going to be worth it? Especially if I've already done it. You know?
I think that's the thing. If you've never done it, I think that's a separate thing. If you've done it before, is there enough variety or whatever to, and maybe not. Some people just enjoy doing it every year, and that's fine. But for some people, it's like, is there enough to bring them back? But I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how much it sells out this year. If it,
like how quickly?
Yeah, because last year it wasn't very quick. This year, if they're already looking at a soft summer,
right?
That a lot of times when this party starts, which is September, that's a pretty soft time of year to begin with.
I mean August.
Well, August, September area, because kids go back to school. So, but I mean, ultimately, these parties keep selling out, so they have every raise the price, I guess, until that doesn't happen. But
I think it'll keep happening.
Well, it'll be interesting, just given like they're already not anticipating the summer being super strong.
Yeah.
So seeing how that affects this, we'll see. But so, anyways, if you want to go there, you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all right, the other bit of news we have is that there was the earnings call for the second quarter of this year on Tuesday.
Yes.
There's some things to note. I did listen to the entire thing. I won't bore you with the...
How was that?
They're very boring.
I know.
There are some interesting takeaways, but Jamie can hit on the high points here, and then we'll get into some things.
So obviously they talked about the whole company, but we're just going to focus on Walt Disney World stuff. So they said that the increase in operating income at our domestic parks and experiences was due to higher results at Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line, partially offset by lower results at Disneyland Resort. So they did have a higher operating income this year. At Walt Disney World Resort, higher results in the current quarter compared to the prior year quarter were due to increased guest spending attributable to higher average ticket prices and higher costs due to inflation, partially offset by lower depreciation and cost saving initiatives. So from what I take away from that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, just costs going up because of inflation and people spending more because tickets went up. Like, is that on
higher prices on everything, plus Genie Plus in there as well being higher. So basically everything, the prices being raised is what they're attributing most of the more income into, because there wasn't anything new that really was drawing people in.
Exactly, and I think that just shows also that the attendance level didn't really go up,
right?
Because if it did, we would see a higher significant, well,
and then that gets into a whole thing of, is the price being prohibitive to people that aren't already in your, you've got the Disney crowd that goes. Is the increasing in prices prohibitive to people thinking about coming? These are, who knows, but that's just something you can always kind of wonder about.
I mean, I as someone that lives 2 hours from the parks, I have an annual pass, and I can go all the time like we do. I look at planning, just look at the numbers of planning a vacation, like flight, if you're flying, flight costs, the hotel for like, let's say like 5 nights, tickets for, let's say 4-day hopper, and food and everything. And I'm just like, it just blows my mind. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, it's
absolutely.
wild. Yeah.
So when I see the fact that the attendance seems to not be going up, kind of just staying steady, but we're only getting more money because they're raising the prices and people are still paying it. It's just, because they have to if they want to go. Ticket prices go up, you got to pay the tickets,
Right.
So it's not really anything that's, getting attendance getting higher. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing super shocking, I guess, in this announcement.
Well,
although Disney Cruise Line went up. It went up.
Well, and that's been something that people have talked about, is a lot of people are choosing to go on cruises. So that's something that Kendra has talked about from Zip Travel before, that a lot of people are looking to go cruising. A lot of people think there's a better value there. So that's obviously Disney has both. But there's, I don't know how many of those people are looking to go on a Disney cruise versus going to the parks, but that is something they did talk about. The thing that was interesting that they took away was they actually said in the call that Disney they were expecting a softer summer. And
yeah, you had mentioned that.
That attendance was not expected to be as high. Now, they didn't go into the why or anything of that nature, which I find an interesting conversation, because there's probably, as most things go in life, there's not just a singular reason for it. I think obviously the economy and inflation is taking it. I mean, we're seeing it all over the place. Like it's definitely taking a toll on people.
Yeah.
So when that happens, people don't have as much as discretionary income. They did mention that people are some of the investors had a lot of questions about, they were calling it revenge travel. People are kind of done with that, which, I would say so.
By now, yeah.
But I think what was interesting about the call is the parks is what makes them, that's, at this point, that's kind of the main thing that is the income driver for Disney, is the parks. Yeah. So when they see, and you could tell that the questions from the investors were all toward this and like the studio side, and they were a little passive aggressively sort of going at Iger a little bit. He got Iger always in these calls, these calls are obviously very rehearsed, but Iger sometimes when he's doesn't have something written in front of him, you can kind of see him get agitated a bit. So there's a couple times where we were just like, okay. Like you could tell it kind of bugged him that they were asking that question. They didn't really go in depth a lot, but part of me wonders how this gets into like a theory thing of like, obviously next year it's anticipated, Epic Universe is going to open. So, okay, how many people, and we've talked about before, I think with Universal side of things, that a lot of people are probably putting off trips there waiting until Epic Universe opens. But how many people potentially are putting off trips to Orlando in general until maybe Epic Universe opens? Because I think a lot of people still will be like, let's go to Disney and check out this new park. I think there's a lot of people that will do that. Is that starting to affect them in that people are just being like, I'm just going to wait? And also, like, Tiana's Bayou's not open yet. They haven't even announced when that's going to be open.
And also, too, and I don't think you mentioned this, but the economy is just not great right now. So
I mentioned that.
Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say,
obviously, when people aren't, inflation, everything like that, like people just don't travel as much during those times. They're offering a lot of discounts, which means they're trying to get the locals to come. So I think all the parks in the Orlando area are just going to try and rely on the locals a bunch.
Yep.
And then you're seeing, which is an interesting thing, you're seeing a lot of people, and we've talked to many people that do this, which they fly in the morning of, do the park stuff, and fly out that night. It's like
it's becoming way more popular.
Right. And some people are just doing this as a way of like still going to the parks, but doing it cheaper, not paying for a hotel, just paying for a flight back and forth. Because you can still, like, if you don't have much luggage, you can still get some decent, flights. Yeah. And things like that. But
I think too, also, since there's no festival this summer for the first time in a couple of years, I think that also may affect it a little bit.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, if you really think about it, there's not a lot to draw people in this summer.
Except for Communicore Hall and Plaza and Epcot.
Like I said, there's not a lot of stuff to draw people into the parks this summer. And like I look at Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Splash Mountain 2.0, or whatever you want to call it, reopening. I think people are excited for it, but I don't think people are looking at it as people know this ride. It's just a theme over ride.
Yeah.
So, and we've said for a while, I have no doubt that they're going to announce a bunch of stuff at D23 this year, I would assume.
Oh, gosh.
But
if they don't.
Tiana is the only thing left on the docket to open. So...
Is that right? Well, the Epcot stuff. But yeah.
Well, I just mean in terms of rides. There's no other rides that are going to open. And there was some stuff that it was talked about this week of May shutting down for refurbs, like Peter Pan and some other things like that. So I'm wondering if they're just being like, attendance is low, let's refurb stuff and see. But
let's just do it now. It
just gets into a whole thing of as to the whys, and they're not going to get into it in the calls. But it was interesting to hear them say that. It was not the stock did not do well after the call. It fell about 10% afterwards.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the summer goes, and I'm very curious this next year how, with Epic Universe coming into the picture, and people can get annoyed at me for talking about Epic Universe sometimes. All I'm saying is it's going to have an effect. What does Disney do? What is their verbiage? How are they looking at it? What are they going to do? I think that all is a relevant question in this next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to watch this play out. Kind of like Game of Thrones. It's called Game of Parks,
which I started watching. I can't. I told my mom, I was like, I think I'm done. I'm like midway through season 2, and I'm like, it's too much. There's just too much happening. I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I'm done.
I've never felt Game of Thrones was a show for you.
It's not a show for Jamie. No.
We tried watching it when Jamie was pregnant and it did not go well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I look at all this stuff happening. It's like Game of Thrones. You've got, that's how I think it's entertaining, but we'll see how it goes. But anyways, that was the call. If you've ever listened to one, they're not exciting, but they did do it in the morning, which is interesting. They usually do these in the evenings, but they did it in the morning. And I actually think that they have I've heard rumblings that they have some actual stuff to announce, but they did not announce. They didn't announce Tiana or anything in the conference call. I'm wondering if they just didn't announce it because I think they knew there were some other numbers in here that besides the parks that they took a hit on the stock for. I think maybe they're just thinking, let's take our hit on the stock, and then we'll have announcements that will maybe help bump it up, perhaps. Because a lot of times with this stuff, if you can try and push in your good stuff with the bad, but the investors lock in on something that's they don't like, the stock's going to take a dip no matter what. But we'll see. But
all right,
that's it for the news, though.
Okay.
And the conference call hour. So, and we already did the poll time.
We
so
did.
That's out of the way. All right. Well, let's talk about Yak and Yeti. Now, Yak and Yeti has quick service and they have table service. So Jamie went here with her mom on Friday and ate at the table service portion here.
Yes.
And I will let Jamie. I was not there, so I will just let her mostly talk about this. If I have questions, I will interject, I suppose.
Okay. So Yak and Yeti, it is located in the it's like right at the cross section where the bridge from Discovery Island meets Africa and Asia. Like right by the birds of the Flights of Wonder old show, the bird show. So it's over there. But so we ate lunch here last Friday, a little after 11 when they opened. We did not make a reservation. I couldn't get a reservation, so we just walked up and I checked how long it was going to be, and it was just the two of us. And she said at first she quoted us 25 minutes, but then I mentioned that I was a Landry's club member, and she changed it to 10 to 15 minutes. And so I guess I should kind of explain what that means. So the Landry's company that owns like a collection of restaurants, they have a select club. And to be a member, you can sign up. It's free. You can go to their website. You enroll in the program. It's $25 to join, but you receive a welcome $25 reward that you can use at any of the Landry's owned restaurants. The physical card will be sent to you in about a week, and you can give them your card to get points and use rewards at the restaurant. Once you earn 250 points, you get another $25 reward. You also get a $25 reward on your birthday or your birthday month. And at Disney and Universal, you can use the card at Rainforest Cafe and Yak and Yeti at Animal Kingdom, T-Rex Cafe and Rainforest Cafe at Disney Springs, and Bubba Gump Shrimp Company and the Palm over at Universal. So You should get this if you ever want to eat at any of those places. So we ended up waiting maybe 7 minutes for our table, so it wasn't long at all. We sat upstairs right next to the window where we could see people walking over from the bridge, like I was talking about before. The restaurant theming, and this is directly from the restaurant's website, so I'll just read it. It says, here in the town of, how do you say that? Anandapur, and how do you say that? Anandapur.
Anandapur, maybe?
Anandapur.
Anandapur? You're asking the wrong person.
I can't. I'm butchering this. I'm sorry. I apologize. I am terrible. So lives a rich merchant, Arjun, who is Arjun. Okay, who has fallen on hard times and has turned his large home into the Yak Yeti Hotel. In the center of the hotel is the full-service Yak Yeti restaurant, which features local Pan-Asian cuisine. The hotel is the kind of boutique hotel that wealthier adventure travelers might seek out in India. The decor, as well as the furniture at Yak Yeti, is an I can't say this word. Amalgamation.
No, it's amalgamation.
I can't do it.
Usually, listen. If you're not saying I'm good, we're in trouble.
Oh my gosh! Of mismatched artifacts Arjun has collected through his years of travel in Southeast Asia. So there you go. It's a hotel now. There's a restaurant in it. So there is a small bar in the restaurant, and they do have a secret menu. So if you decide you want to go, just you can ask the bartender about it. But there is like a password and everything too. It's fun. So what we got for the menu, I'll just go over that real quick. So we got the Bang Bang calamari, which is crispy battered medley of calamari and vegetables, sweet chili sauce, Bang Bang sauce, and this was $15.99, and this was probably the best calamari I've ever had in my life, which is saying something. Yes.
Okay.
The sweet chili sauce was sweet, but I mean it had a little kick to it. The Bang Bang sauce was, I mean, it had a little kick to it as well. It was more like mayonnaise based. But yeah. It was so good. I mean, they had like zucchini, it had carrots, it had I want to say squash maybe in there. But yeah, there were different kinds of vegetables that were delicious as much as the calamari was. And it was more rings of the calamari, not so much the tentacles and whatnot. So it made me happy. But yeah, this was super good. I could probably have just eaten this on my own and been fine. But
how much did they give you?
Oh God. I mean, it's a big plate full. I mean, it was enough it could have fit if you had like 4 people and been okay. I mean, like shareable. Okay. I mean, it was a good amount. So I would definitely get that again. Bang Bang calamari. And then as far as the entrees go, my mother, she got the barbecue ribs. That was half rack of slow roasted St. Louis pork ribs, Korean barbecue sauce, fries, and kimchi slaw. She substituted the fries for vegetables, and she really enjoyed this. I had actually tried a little bit, and the ribs, they didn't like exactly like fall off the bone or anything like that, but the sauce they used was really good. It was a little sweet. Like it wasn't super tangy or anything. So that was nice. And the meat on the bone, it was very good. It was very good.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, for $30 for the ribs and all that stuff that came with it was a pretty good value. I don't think she could finish all of it. But it was really good. And then I got the chicken tikka marsala, and this is boneless chicken marinated in yogurt and fresh ground herbs, cooked in a traditional masala sauce, jasmine rice, and garlic naan for $27.99. And so the sauce with the masala sauce is pretty thick. This was definitely very good. It had a lot of chicken in it. I actually didn't finish all the chicken because I was pretty full. But the rice was jasmine rice, was decent jasmine rice, but the garlic naan, I dipped all of that in that sauce. It was so good. Chicken was good. I mean, like this was a very good dish. I had like no complaints about it. No complaints at all.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, I didn't really know what to get going in. So I had messaged somebody, she's a Club 32 member, and I messaged her, I'd be like, tell me what to get now. And so she just, she gave me a bunch of suggestions, and we pretty much took all of them. So
Okay.
thank you, Rachel.
So do you think the quick serve where you walk up area is better than this, or is this better in the sit down part?
Oh, the sit down is better. I mean, they're both good. I mean, if you just want something quick, then the quick service is such a good option. But if you're wanting like a sit down meal and the whole shebang, this is also good. Now they do have some small plates. You can get pot stickers, you can get wok fried green beans, you can get pork egg rolls, you can get shrimp. And they're the girls behind us actually ordered like 3 of these and made like meals out of them. And so I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Do like a small plate, just meals with each other. So so it was really good. We didn't get any dessert because we were stuffed, but they have fried wontons, New York cheesecake, pineapple upside down cake, pudding, mango pie, stuff like that. And the rest of the menu is, let's see, they have lettuce cups, ahi tuna nachos. They've got salads. They've got hibachi steak and shrimp, Kobe beef burger. And look, Jared, it's $25 for a burger. I know you hate that. Ribeye, teriyaki chicken.
Burger prices have,
I know,
that they've gotten out of control, if I'm being quite honest.
They're artisanal or whatever.
That's the thing. Burgers are not artisanal. That is one thing that is not an artisanal item. But yeah.
They have lo mein. They have a dragon roll bowl, salmon, coconut shrimp. They have duck, Cantonese pork belly bowl. They've got a ton of stuff. So there's a lot for anybody to eat here. So okay. I would definitely go back here.
I was going to ask you, what would you give it, and would you go back?
I would give this a solid. I give it like an 8.5. 8.5. Yeah, 9 maybe.
Now they take AP discount as well.
Okay, so you can get an AP discount, or you can use your Landry's card for points. You can't do both, apparently.
Gotcha.
So I forget what I chose. I think I chose a discount, but I still got the reward. I could still use the $25 reward. So anyway, so that was good. And yes, I would go back, and I would like you to come with me next time.
Well, yeah, sure. Next time we go, we will try for sure.
Okay. Yay.
Sounds like a plan.
But yeah, so definitely it's delicious, and I have nothing but good things to say about it.
Okay.
Oh, I do want to mention, he did not ask me on my server, if anybody had an allergy, like a food allergy.
Yeah.
I did take note of that. I do, if you're unfamiliar, I have a tree nut and peanut allergy. But I am capable enough to know what I can and can't eat. But he didn't ask or anything. So I was like, oh, I am not used to that at Disney. So I did notice.
I'm assuming that's a mistake.
I think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I think it was. So
I don't think that's a new policy they have.
No, it is not. Yeah. But I did take note of that. So
okay.
Anyway, everything else is great.
All right. Well, good. Okay. Well, that will do it for the show. I guess this is a good spot to just do a quick housekeeping. If you're looking to book a trip with our good friends over at Zip Travel, which you should, we love Zip Travel. Before you would go to travelwithzip.com. Well, we've had to change that for some technical things have happened, and now that URL to, if you're wanting to book a trip, is now vacationwithzip.com. So that is the new URL you go to. The other one, the old one, will take you to it just won't go anywhere. So a lot of technical things went in. Anyways, there's a lot of backstory to that. But anyways, just go to vacationwithzip.com to book a trip with Zip Travel. And we have Kendall and Lauren who will take care of you. They're great. That's our CTM team there. And so just wanted to put that out there because I had to do all that today and get that all fixed up. So it's fresh on my mind. But okay. that is the thing there. So be sure to check us out on all the socials. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere except for TikTok. We're at Capture the Magic. We just posted a reel basically talking about how we wish the Tangle ride would come to Disney World that they got in Tokyo. And we're not really talking about it on the show, but if you've seen that thing looks incredible. And just put it in Disney World.
Tears have been shed.
Just put it in Disney. You cried about it?
Tears have been shed.
Oh, that's intense.
I am so sad it's not over here.
I have said years ago, I described what I would do for this ride. It's pretty much kind of exactly how I said I would do it.
Yep.
I think if they want people into parks, if you put a Tangled ride in there, I think that would bring people in. I don't know. I just feel like that would be one of those where, like, remember Frozen Ever After whenever that first opened?
Yeah.
And you had, some of the 5-hour waits, if not more?
Yep.
I feel like this ride would be on that level.
It might be.
I really do. I think if you open this in Magic Kingdom and it's like the stuff we're seeing that they're doing in Tokyo, where it's like literally just scenes from the movies, and even the Frozen ride they have over there looks like scenes taken out of the movies. I mean,
yeah,
I think you would have now if you put both of those in Magic Kingdom. I mean that would bring some people in, but will they do it at this point? I don't have much faith that they'll do it because Tangled is already almost like probably 10 years old at this point.
It is 14. 14 years old.
It's well older than that.
13 years old.
I still say it's one of the better Disney princess movies out there. Like having had to have watched that many times with our daughter.
Yeah.
That movie still holds up. It's still a good movie.
Yeah.
I just wish they would I wish we would get more than bathrooms.
We dressed up as the Rapunzel and Flynn and Pascal and Mother Gothel in 2020 for Halloween time.
We
remember that?
We did. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we really did love it.
I guess save up for the Tokyo fund because I have a feeling a lot of people will be going over there.
Yeah.
But anyways, we made a reel. It was Jamie's idea to kind of make fun of the fact that all we have in Disney World are bathrooms themed
Listen,
after
though,
Tangled.
there's a great spot for it. There's a great spot for it at Magic Kingdom.
Where would that be?
Small World. But they would never do that.
Well, that's what I've said because it's not the original
They
Small
would never
World.
do that. Yeah.
But
they would never replace it. Okay, fine.
there's places to put it. That's all I'm saying. When there's a will, there's a way. But anyways, there's a reel where we kind of poke fun at that. So you can check that out. And we have some other shows on the network. You can check out the CTM Universal show where we talk about Universal Studios. And on the last one there, we talked about the Universal released all the details for Super Nintendo World coming to Epic Universe. And we also ate at Circus McGurkus and gave our thoughts about that place. Mm-hmm. Lots of dirty plates.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. But was the food good? You'll have to listen. I don't know. Yes. And then Jamie also has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show. And when is the next one there coming out?
I should be able to do it on Monday.
On Monday?
Monday or Tuesday. Yep.
All right. That is there. And that'll do it for the show. So thank you, everybody. Of course, if you want more content, Club 32 is where you can check that out and everything like that. So that'll do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
we will see you in the parks.
Bye.